I mean, you can, if you work better doing pieces at a time, like do what's best for you. That's one of the things I've learned is like a lot of experts have a lot of ideas on how things need to be done. Or like when I talk to writing professionals, some are like YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. Another one's blog, blog, blog. And the difference is like YouTube worked for that person, blogging worked for that person, Amazon is working for this other person, but they're the variable in the story. And so you have, like, I've had to figure out what works for me and what's best for me because it's not, all journeys are not the same. And so if you write better, like in pieces, then I would say just write it in pieces.
And that's
You have
kind
my
of
permission.
where I started off with, because I think it must just be a product of the age we're in. But
Mm-hmm.
we're just so easily distracted, and we're taught, we do one thing for a little bit, we do another thing for a little bit, we do another, so I tend to write that way. I'll write, this bit of a story this day because I'm in the mood for romance, this bit of a story another day because I'm in the mood for, science fiction. And so I do
Mm-hmm.
tend to kind of jump around in my ideas and thoughts.
I mean, that's what I was doing with my nonfiction and my fiction when I needed a break from one or the other. Or if you have part of the story in your head, then you need to get it out before it goes away. So you
True.
got to stop and like, oh no,
You're
don't lose it. Don't
absolutely
lose it.
right. Oh my goodness, yes. Because I would totally kick myself if I forgot some piece of the story I wanted to tell. Which is so why I have my notes on my phone too. Because when they hit, you don't want to lose them. So you like, do a voice memo or do a quick. This is the idea for this. Yes, something to jog that memory. So when you work, do you work like, do you try to do, I don't know, some people try to do like several paragraphs a day or a set period of time that they write. How does your workflow go?
My workflow has changed a lot since I hired Mickey as a publicist.
Nice.
Just because now I'm doing so many more interviews and I'm writing articles for him and filling out interviews and all sorts of stuff. So my job description has changed a little bit in the last couple of weeks, which has been interesting. Before that, I would try to spend like 2 days writing, just writing and doing nothing else, and then a day doing social media and trying to plan some of that stuff out because I felt like my writing brain just needed to stay in that space. Like when I deep dive into a story, I go into the story. So like when my kids ask for something, I'm like, "What do you want?" Because it's like a choke collar that pulls me back into reality. Like I'm just in a totally different zone. So I just try to stay there in that space, and I'll just write for hours as much as I can possibly get done in that time. So
Very
yeah.
cool. So I'm curious because, like you said, there's so much advice out there about how to write and how to market and so on. And so, I subscribe to various newsletters, and one of those is saying, it's like marketing. People do research and say, okay, what kind of stories do people want? Do you buy into all that kind of thought process, like researching in advance what the market wants versus just telling the story that you want to tell?
I mean, I feel like the story on your heart that you have to tell or the story that you want to tell is going to sell better than trying to force yourself to write something for an audience that you're not feeling. Like the story that you have is going to sound better on paper. Um, and I think there's a market for almost everything at this point. Like I'm seeing a lot of closed door romance stuff, but that's kind of the space I'm in on Instagram, and I think I'm almost looking for those people, so I'm seeing more of that content.
Makes
You know how
sense.
like with the way the algorithm
Yes.
works.
For
But
whatever
if
you
I
want to
was
see.
writing right, if I was writing sci-fi, I'm sure I'd find plenty of sci-fi people on Instagram too. You just because you find what you research. So,
And that does make sense. That absolutely makes sense. And like you, I'm a big fan of the closed door romance, clean romance. Let's leave
mhm,
some things to the imagination. Let's just
mhm,
get down to the heart part
right.
and forget about the bedroom stuff.